And Are You Okay is a not safe for work podcast, so any young listeners are discouraged from continuing. However, we literally have no way to track that, so do whatever the hell you want and enjoy the show.
Feels good to win. I feel like Star Wars fans stay winning this week. You know, if you like Star Wars, that is. If you hate Star Wars, it's a great time to just like a show all the way up until the end and then start hating on it on social media. I saw a lot of that this week. You know,
it's been a good week. It's been a good week for us.
It has been a great week for us. A great week for me. You know, my good friend Matthew.
I wave. I be forgetting that only we can see us. I be waving. I'm like, hey, oh yeah.
My partner in crime, Ray, the Ruiner.
The Ruiner.
Hi.
Here once again at Annie, Are You Okay?
A Star Wars podcast.
A Star Wars podcast, indeed. Man, I'm vibing.
Yeah.
I got everything I wanted.
Yeah.
I got everything I wanted. What you guys wanted, maybe not so much, but we will see what you guys have to think. I don't. I actually don't give a fuck.
Zero.
I mean, like,
given.
I give a fuck in the sense that, like, I want you guys to treat this as your safe space to tell me how you feel about it. But personally, I'm vibing. And I can't be stopped. The Force is with me.
Are you dancing on your own? Hey.
I am dancing on my own. The worst hype song in sports history, but we dancing on our own.
We love it. We love it. I hated that song at first, but it's grown on me. I love it quite a lot.
As they always do. It was
only like the first. It was like the first week. I was like, "Oh, what is this?" And I was like,
"Well, I mean, how do you compete with Dreams and Nightmares? Come on."
I ain't even gonna say that hot take. I'll get. I'll lose my credibility.
This isn't Philly, Are You Okay? A Philly sports podcast. It's Annie, Are You Okay? A Star Wars podcast. And
a Star Wars podcast.
Without further ado, let me get the Screen Actors Guild portion of this out of the way. We are in solidarity with those actors. The writers have fought and gotten their fair wages, and they have negotiated. Great to see that they are going to be back working on all these creative endeavors that we love, but the actors still have not quite gotten there yet, and we are in solidarity with them. However, we are going to thrive in this chaos and continue to put out nerd content for you. That's here on Annie, Are You Okay? That's on Dragon Ball for Life,
Star Wars podcast,
our sister show,
an anime podcast.
And, you know, I mean, I got a lengthy plot synopsis this time, so excuse me if I have to take a breath.
What's that? Get your water ready. Hydrate. Lubricate your throat.
I'm team beer tonight, so I guess I'm not hydrating. I'm just destroying the vocal cords.
Counterproductive. I like it.
Yeah. Well, I guess this is the time for me to hyper dive into the plot synopsis.
Dive right in.
Morgan Elspeth is rewarded with the transformation for her loyalty to Thrawn and her sisters and acquires the Blade of Talzin. Ezra builds a new lightsaber with a little help from Huyang and a nod to his former master. Huyang explains to Ezra that Ahsoka believed Sabine was training to be a Jedi for the wrong reasons, revealing the fate of her family. Ahsoka and Sabine talk through difficult choices, and the master assures the apprentice that she will stick by her no matter what, just as Anakin did for her. The TIE fighters attack the T-6, and Sabine launches the shuttle into the TIEs in an effort to save her friends and the Noti. Thrawn prepares for a ground assault, assuming that the Jedi will not be deterred from hindering the escape of the Chimera. Huyang and the Noti attempt to repair the ship as the Jedi try the front door. Riding through the sea of hellfire, Ahsoka, Sabine, and Ezra ride their howlers into the entrance of the obelisk. Met by Thrawn's night troopers, the Jedi battle their way through, but are pushed to the brink when the Great Mothers bring back the dead. Ahsoka confronts Morgan to give Ezra and Sabine a chance at stopping Thrawn. Ezra and Sabine run into reanimated Death Troopers who give the Jedi much more trouble than they expect. Sabine uses the Force in full effect to pull her lightsaber into her hands to save herself and help Ezra. Sabine uses her new strength and Force to push Ezra onto the Chimera as Ahsoka defends herself against Morgan and the Night Troopers. Ahsoka loses a lightsaber in the battle, and just as she seems beaten, her apprentice shows her loyalty by coming to her aid. Ahsoka defeats Morgan as the Chimera preps for its departure to the known galaxy. Our heroes board the T-6 and attempt to catch Thrawn during his departure, but ultimately fail as Thrawn declares his victory, taunting Ahsoka before jumping into hyperspace. Ahsoka, Sabine, Huyang, Shin, and Baylan remain on Peridea on different paths that will likely converge. Thrawn's forces approach Dathomir upon their arrival to the known galaxy. Ezra uses Baylan and Shin's shuttle to escape to the New Republic, where he's finally home. Ahsoka and Sabine feel something in the Force as they discuss that they are right where they need to be, and that it is time for them to move on, and Anakin's Force Ghost watches his apprentice from afar and smiles as the screen fades to black. That was a lot.
Snap, snaps.
Masterfully done. Or snip, snips. Masterfully done. Masterfully
so
done.
much to get into. I will hand it off to you, Ray, the Ruiner, first to give me your favorite moments, because she's being uncharacteristically quiet. That's like 3 weeks in a row that I'm just like, damn, where's the energy from my pink-haired lady? Tell the people what they should hear, tell the people what they should love, tell the people what they should hate. How did you feel about this episode? Give me your favorite moments.
Oh my God, that was so much. Well, first of all, gotta call out the title of the episode. We 100%. What are you doing?
Trying to get focused back on my.
I was like, are you trying to give me a high five?
I mean, yeah, that's cool.
No, I mean, what
that's
is it?
the real for this episode.
Yeah. The Jedi, the Witch, and the Warlock. I mean, come on, we fucking called that shit. We've been talking about Terabithia, which I know is not Narnia, but same.
They took a lot from us. I'm taking credit.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. Just give us some money for all the work we put into that episode.
Yeah, where the royalties at?
Yeah. Favorite moment. I don't know. That's hard. Overall, I feel like this. I really enjoyed the episode. Overall, there's definitely a few small qualms I had with it, which I'm sure we'll get into it, but nothing that took away from it as a whole. I would say, oh gosh. I think Ezra reuniting with Hera and Chopper. I mean, it's just such a heartwarming moment. Definitely teared up. Then when we were talking about it later, I teared up again. So I guess I'd be remiss if I didn't.
From that moment.
Okay, so I get that because someone brought that up to me earlier today too. But it's like, I feel like it was just such a shock that it's like I almost like that it was what it was, because then I feel like we can see the energy of the reunion maybe in a second season or something like that. But I don't know. I kind of liked the minimalism of that scene. But
I don't know if it was the last episode that we did or the 2 episodes ago where we were talking about how, like, because clearly Ahsoka's the focal point, they can't really give Hera the emotional turmoil that we know she is having internally. That's the only reason why I don't like that they did nothing. Like, had they had Hera going through the motions visibly in other exchanges having to do with that, and that was it, then I'm like, oh yeah, she's so happy, she's shocked. But it's just like she has just come across as kind of being like, yeah, it sucks. That's war, approach to it, when we know that's not how she really is as a character. So it's like I wanted a hug. I would have just been fine with a hug. It didn't need to be like no long thing, just like a hug. Like I was like, hey, go hug your brother's son. Go hug your adopted brother's son.
I feel like they were. I mean, he was gone for as long as she raised him, or if not longer. So to be in shock wasn't like out of character. And I also feel like she may have closed herself off because of the reality of war, like that she's been through. She's already lost so much, And so maybe just that disbelief.
And then she had a real son.
Yeah, right. That disbelief factor could have factored into things, but I tend to agree. I would have loved to see a hug between the two of them. They didn't have to necessarily run up and embrace each other. But
it could have been a slow walk. Could have been took you long enough, like how he did with Sabine. He was it took you long enough, and then had that moment. I loved how their reunion played out, because they wouldn't have been all Joe and overly dramatic and run to each other slow motion. Stop trying to make fetch happen, Ray and Ben. Your cousins. But
is Exegol just the Alabama of the galaxy? It's
yes, it's exactly what Exegol is. That's hilarious. Exegol equals Alabama. Name of the episode. Our views are gonna pop in the South. Let's get it. Let's get it. But
so Matt, tell me, what were your favorite parts? I need to hear from you now.
Man. So many parts. I don't even know where to start. Hedwig finally found her way from Hogwarts. Finally.
Fuck yes, Morai. Snaps for Morai.
I was so happy. I was like, Hedwig! I shouted it out. I was so excited. All right. You know what? I do know my favorite part. And this is a good place to start, because it's kind of like an all-encompassing statement. I know that we were I won't say tentative. We had rational skepticism. If that's skepticism. We had rational skepticism.
Well, it's skeptical speculation, right?
There you go.
Yeah, skepticism. Yeah. They're just words. They don't control us. Skepticism, name of this episode.
I mean, you said dickmatized last week, so.
I mean, dickmatized is a thing. That's 1,000% a thing. It happens.
But I live under a rock, and I'm going to use that phrase so much moving forward. Continue.
As you should. But skepticism. We had rational skepticism about how this was going to end. What are they trying to do to set up the movie? How much of the time are they going to try to fill in between time? Assuming the strike's going to end sooner rather than later, we got to get back to work soon. I mean, the writers got to get back to work now-ish or whatever. But I will say my favorite part of this episode, I won't say it's my favorite finale of all time. I feel like that'd be a bit much. But in terms of right decision making for the plot, I feel like this was done to perfection. I love the fact that Ezra got home and they got stuck. I was over the moon. I was like I think Ray, you called it. It was we said it last week. Oh yeah, if the season 2 is them trying to get off the planet, then we'll be fine with that. And that's exactly what we're getting. Just everything. I will say, I would have liked more of a dramatic swan song from Morgan. I don't like that he was just I need you to stay, and she was just yeah, I'll stay. I would have liked it to be a bit more dramatic on her side, but she could still be alive. They got resurrection magic, and she's a high priestess witch now. She can still come back. I would love to see her back in season 2. But outside of that, I'm so happy with how everything turned out. I would have liked a bit more Balin, but if it's going where I think it's going, I can see why they didn't even want to start touching that, because that's a lot.
It's not a long enough episode. For that.
But the decisions that was Filoni the writer of this one. I don't know. I don't know.
I think Filoni wrote all of the episodes.
Oh, for a word.
Different directors.
Gotcha.
The actual execution.
Well, yeah, the writer-director combo for this nailed it. Literally. And when we were even floating around all of our ideas of how we might want it to end last week, I don't think that specific version we thought of. We had said they all get stuck and try to get back. Ezra might not make it back, but I love that he got to go back, and they have to stick and stay and grow and regrow their bond, and she can continue her training and everything. So I'm super excited.
Definitely never thought one of them was getting back, especially being Ezra. So definitely, not in my prediction.
Every second of it, every second. I left that being It was weird because I wasn't like, whoa, what an episode. But I was like overly satisfied. Like, I was like, that was very satisfying. Like,
we will look back on this series as the bridge that it was to the content that I think is going to put us over the moon. Yes, please, Terabithia.
It's exactly, and Narnia now apparently.
And Narnia, we did
it. We manifested this, guys.
We named this episode.
We did.
Yeah,
we did.
They actually they heard this, they heard us, went back, and they changed the title.
I mean, all
literally came up on screen, and I was like, no fucking way.
Yeah, she couldn't even like. We usually don't talk too much for the first time we watch the episode, but she cannot contain.
I was
like,
dying.
You know what's funny? I don't know if y'all realize, but like they don't drop the episode name when it premieres. It'll just say like episode 8.
I know, because I reached out to you. I knew you were watching the Phillies, and I was like,
yeah.
I was like, Matt, you got to look at the fucking title of the episode, and it said
and
part
I went
8.
and it just said part 8. I was like, okay.
You're like, cool.
Oh, what a number. Like, all right, Nick Castellanos, okay. But then when I watched the episode, I started geeking. I was like, we did this. We did it. No, it was very that was
sometimes
that was awesome.
When things like that happen, I feel like we live in a simulation.
Oh yeah,
100%.
But I digress.
Big facts. All of it's simulated.
I have a favorite moment if you are done with your favorite moments, Matt, but I don't want to cut
please.
you off, so.
No, you're good. Give it to me.
Ezra building the lightsaber with Hu Yang. Incredible opening for our heroes. And we get, like, I like the homage to, obviously that scene referenced Hu Yang helping the younglings in the Clone Wars and Ezra and his relationship to Kanan. And, they were able to come to an understanding as Ezra built a lightsaber that's very reminiscent of Kanan's and even used a spare part that Hu Yang saved for him, which was super nice. But we also got just the right amount of exposition to completely confirm that Sabine's family was killed on Mandalore, which is something that I think we've been like tiptoeing around. I definitely like assumed and have probably gone on the record being like, yeah, that's what happened, Night of 1,000 Tears. But it was nice to just get the verbal confirmation and then also find out why Ahsoka stopped training Sabine. And they did it in a...
I'm still confused.
So I think I got it. I'm gonna assume what Hu Yang was referencing is that like Sabine would have just wanted to become a Jedi to get revenge, and then it would have been like a whole Anakin situation again with Ahsoka being her Jedi master. That's a very slippery slope. Like, oh, your master already maybe quote unquote shouldn't have been a Jedi like we said, and y'all went against our wishes, and look what happened. You let a pit bull loose on the universe. So that was my interpretation, that maybe Ahsoka was just like, all right, I seen where this goes. Like when someone's trying to be a Jedi out of anger or like necessity versus like this being the way. That's how I took it.
I kind of took that as well. Like her anger would have, if she had become strong with the Force during that time period, she would have embraced the darkness too much.
Sorry, I think what I'm more confused about is that it seemed like... So, like, Baylan had made a comment about Ahsoka being the reason that Sabine didn't go help her family on Mandalore. Right. But then, in what Hu Yang was saying, it made it sound like their training was taking place after Mandalore, and that's what was fueling her want to train, which is then what Ahsoka recognized. I think that the timeline of that is what was confusing to me.
I think both are true, but I think you're just confusing. I think that she was already training as a Jedi, and Ahsoka was the reason why.
Yeah, she probably didn't let her. She didn't let her go. Yeah, she was like, "Oh, like basically."
And then the reason Ahsoka walked away from Sabine after that is
probably because of that.
Yeah.
But why would she not let her go save her family?
Same reason Yoda didn't want Luke to go help Han and Leia. It was like them attachments. Jedi's is like, you can't have these attachments. Like, you got to let all that go. So, man, what a full circle moment.
But I guess like, okay, fine, like the stupid attachment thing, which like is always annoying. But like,
nah,
but it's also like an entire civilization of people that was destroyed. So like I don't know, as the soldiers that they are, and especially like keepers of the peace, like that just seems like somewhere that they would have been. So to simply say that she didn't let her go because she was afraid of attachment just like doesn't feel like a strong enough reason.
Don't Jedis and Mandalorians have kind of like an underlying like thing? I wouldn't say like beef.
But I wouldn't say Ahsoka holds that same conflict because she teamed up with Bo-Katan and was essentially an ally to the Mandalorians. I think that for all we know, how could they have known about the attack also? You know, like
that was a secret,
right? But at the same time, like what military force is going to telegraph that they're going to glass a planet?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So
yeah, maybe I'm thinking too much into it. I guess it was just something that kind of like I was like, I don't get it, but okay, I'm probably just reading into it too much.
No, I don't think so, because like I think we might be not reading into it enough that we are oversimplifying that like a siege in real life would probably take a really long time, but TV time's like, oh, it was an episode. So I feel like we might be literalizing the time too much, because like the siege could have been going on for a really long time, and Ahsoka could have been like, yo, like you can't go. Like I know you want to go help, so we might be looking at it as just like, oh, like she missed the episode. It's like, nah, it was probably a really long time that was happening. But that I like that context, and I love when shows like give you kind of like a throwaway line that explains so much stuff, like them just not like force feeding you the explanation. Like I like that was, we kind of had to piece that together. Like, oh, okay, they didn't say it, but this is clearly where their relationship kind of fractured.
Yeah,
like,
and it's rewarding for fans who've been, keeping up with everything. If you watch that episode of the Book of Boba Fett where they actually like visually represent the Night of 1,000 Tears, you heard about it in the first season of Mandalorian. Like it's cool to see how other characters might be dealing with that same conflict.
Yeah, I do want to combat one thing you said. Oh, what's Yali's phrase? Dang, I forget. Respectfully challenged. Yeah. I feel like it was a missed opportunity, since they were going to have him aboard Thrawn's ship, to have Ezra go look for Kanan's lightsaber and get it that way instead of recreating his. I did love the homage and the recreation and using his hilt. I thought that was dope. But I was just like, dang, like we have to assume that Thrawn has Kanan's saber because his little SS agent had brought it to him after like the whole explosion and whatnot. So I was like, I would imagine he would have kept that in his collection booth.
Oh, I think he still has it for sure.
So I was like, I know like maybe like the episode length, that would have been like a whole little chunk of the episode they would have had to put. But if they could have extended the episode, I would have loved like when Ezra does get aboard the ship, we do see like what he goes and does. Maybe he like walks past the office and is like, oh, wait a minute. And like goes and grabs it. I mean, but we get into season 2. He could.
I was going to say it could be a flashback too. Like maybe he did do that, but we just didn't see it. Maybe he did grab it. Yeah.
Maybe gives Kanan to Jason and
yeah. That'd be dope. That'd be dope if he did grab it. I like that.
I'm betting that he did it. Yeah, I'm betting that he did it.
I am too. I'm rolling. Never mind. I unchallenged.
We'll find out next season.
Right. Challenge rescinded.
And at this point in the podcast, I usually ask you guys, what are your predictions? But the discussion topic for this week is a prediction for individual characters as we go. So I will check them off. The first one on the list is Ahsoka. What do you guys think is on the horizon for her? Do we have overarching ideas in our heads about where the next season might go? Are we thinking more like what's her ultimate fate from like in the movie? What do you guys feel is next for Ahsoka, the titular character of the show?
You want to give?
I mean, I really like I'm not great at these predictions, but like, I really like the idea.
Like it's going to be hard for us to do this without talking about Balin's part, because I think a lot of what's next.
Because I feel the same way. So.
Yeah, like I like the idea. I like the idea of her, becoming the daughter. It makes sense. I feel like that's what she's fated for. The daughter lives inside of her and like Morai is there and all that. Like, I think that makes sense. As to what that truly like means for her as a character, I don't know, but I agree with what she said, that they're exactly where they need to be. And I think season 2 is gonna be pretty much Terabithia, and there's a lot of shit that's gonna go down with obviously Baylan and Ahsoka. So that's the only prediction I have with it.
I'm going to piggyback off of yours a little bit, and I agree that I feel like that's where it's going. I think that this is what takes Ahsoka off the board.
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
I think that the next season of Ahsoka is not the last we will see of her, but the last we will see of her as we know her.
Like, yeah, she can't be an everyday player at this point. She's a god
right
now.
She is going to put herself on that pantheon, if you will, if she's going to be the new daughter, like in the Force, she's not going to be able to participate in the conflict that Thrawn is currently like going to amass in the new galaxy. So I agree. I think that she's on a collision course with Baylan, because Baylan is clearly I think Baylan's trying to find the world between worlds. There's a lot of theories that are saying that he might be going after Abeloth. Abeloth is a Legends thing that apparently the Mortis gods like had a mother, and she like represents chaos, and so they like sealed her away. I personally don't think that that's going to happen. We will see. It's not canon, so I'm not going to put too much like what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not going to like feed that theory and just like have it create all these like other expectations for how I'm going to predict the rest of the show. But I do think that Ahsoka becoming the daughter, to me, is the likely end point for her. Now, whether that happens at the end of the season or at the end of the movie that Filoni directs, we'll see. I do think we're getting a season 2. I think they would have called it a series finale if we were only getting one season.
Yeah, because that was another thing they did really good. It's like they extended questions, so we didn't necessarily need an answer, and like gave us new questions. So it was like we weren't just like, oh, skip a season, just give us the movie. Like, so I'm super happy. Mikey, I'm surprised you haven't. I mean, maybe your algorithms is different than mine. I've been seeing a lot of people their theory with Baylan that he is the son, like reincarnated. And that
I've not seen that yet.
Okay, so I'm kind of rolling.
Interesting. Although I mean, I purposely, and I know that Matt tries to do the same thing, stay away from other content creators before we get a chance to record.
Oh yeah, this was a Twitter thing.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, but I don't stay off of social media to a point where I'm like not seeing certain things floating around. So it's like it was hard to ignore the Abeloth thing. People were predicting that before this episode even came out, and that Baylan theory is interesting because we don't really have a dark side player at the moment who I would put into that role, and I think Baylan makes some sense for that. So it's an interesting theory. I would love to see how it plays out. I really thought that he was going to meet the end of his fate. I'm glad that he didn't, even though also this is the time. Ray Stevenson, what a performance. I just think.
Yeah, man.
I'm really happy we got.
I love him in everything he's ever done. like his whole filmography is like he don't miss. He doesn't. Yeah,
miss. He was excellent. I just hope they do him justice by recasting with somebody who can live up to that performance, because he was a very big, bright spot and a welcome new addition to the Star Wars universe in this show.
So when I had found that theory is a pop-up. Matter of fact, I think it was on IGN, but it was like an article, and it was just like, well, what's next for, Ray Stevenson's character since he passed away and everything with that. And like that led me into a wormhole that got to that theory. And the idea of him being the son, and people were referencing when he was saying like something about this place calls to me, and he like couldn't explain what it was, something about so like the premise behind that, and why it's him and Ahsoka like tied to each other, because Anakin killed the son, and there's like she has the daughter in her, and that's what like kind of like put them on a collision course. But the thing that I thought that was really interesting is if they do make him the son, they could easily have a thing like when he achieves his reborn againness, you can like recast the character that way, because like Balin's like physical form would change, and it could be, I know a lot of people were saying letting Sam Witwer be the son, since he voiced them, like kind of like how they did with Thrawn, and like, you know, he's always floating around, and people thought that he was going to be Smoke, and he wasn't Smoke. So there was just like, that would be a awesome way to, you know, recast them without recasting them, because it's like, you would just obviously have to like do it really early, maybe like the first episode, have something happen where he like, you know, transforms and turns into that. I was like, that does cover a lot of bases.
Yeah,
and I'd be fine
like
with
that
a deep fake at the beginning
to like get that out the way. Yeah, but and then so with that, I had seen that people were saying like Anakin would like represent the father. I loved the fact that his Force ghost showed up at the end. Like, I love that fact, because even though we all kind of knew that he was like present, a case could be made that, you know, when Ahsoka saw him in the world between worlds, that was like her just manifesting him. Like, a case could be made that he like wasn't
Han
exactly
Skywalker.
Exactly. So like, people could say like, oh yeah, he wasn't really there. It was just like a hallucination or a manifestation of like her Force connection to him and this and the third. But like, having his actual outlined blue Force ghost physically show up at the end, it's just like, oh no, he's actually back. Like, he achieved it. Like, if you have like the DVD version of Return of the Jedi, they replaced the old guy with Hayden Christensen and stuff, really crudely just pasted him in there.
It's a weird thing, because it's like, in hindsight, I know a lot of people weren't crazy about that change, but I love it. And
I did too.
They're able to do things like this.
Yeah. I loved it too. But I liked, like, it was like official confirmation that he's like back. And it was like, oh, that's dope. That was also like the last thing. Because at first, before I saw the whole thing about, you know, Anakin being the father, Balin being the son, and Ahsoka being the daughter, before I saw that, I thought it should have been Kanan's Force ghost, and I was like, that would have been a dope Freddie Prinze Jr. cameo moment. Send us home with that. But then when I saw like Anakin is the father, I was just like, oh, okay, cool. I'm fine with it being him again, which makes more sense, because that did seem kind of random to me that he was the very last image of the show before it cut the credits. I was like, huh, that felt strange. But if he's part of a bigger game, which you don't show his Force ghost if you want to have him be like a regular, if not a semi-regular in season 2. Like he's
gonna be.
He was a semi-regular in this show. He showed up in every single episode after episode 5, right?
Yeah.
No, I don't think he was in last week. No, he was. He was the hologram.
Yeah, the hologram, and it was So shit filled out the back half of the season. But having his Force ghost there is just like, oh yeah, no, Anakin about to be in this show, like for several episodes, which I'm super,
or at least a presence of him and maybe guiding. And I think if Balin does enter the world between worlds, then Anakin being present is not far off. If he's destined to be the father, it could make a lot of sense. So I think we kind of like covered Balin in this, like in terms of predicting individual characters or what's happening next. And I did agree. We couldn't really talk about Ahsoka without talking about Balin. But where does that leave us off with, do you guys want to do Sabine or Shin first?
So, I mean, Sabine's the longer conversation.
Yeah, I was going to say Shin's probably
Shin's
a little
pretty
quicker. No fucking clue.
Yeah, I was about to say she about the Tuskegee Raiders. We don't give them a little different.
I think Shin is going to be a co-tagonist, and we're going to follow her story just as much as we follow Sabine and Ahsoka.
Yeah,
until
friends become enemies become friends. Yeah, it's going to be one of those situations. Now I feel you.
I really thought that. I really thought that Thrawn was going to take her under his wing. I was like that. That was like the one prediction that I was like, yeah, that's going to happen. But I don't know, because like I don't know what her end game is. I don't know what her motive is. I don't think she knows what her end game is or what her motive is.
She's lost.
She's totally lost. So
lost physically and literally.
Yeah,
that means that she can be found.
There you go. I said
So-
physically and literally. I appreciate y'all letting me slide. Y'all are real friends. I feel like y'all too.
We knew what you meant.
Appreciate y'all. But I agree. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
whatever she about to get into with the Tuskegee Raiders.
Love that.
I love their outfits. They're awesome. But
They're fucking sick.
Yeah, that's what she's about to do. She about to be the whole leader. She about to be a crime boss. She about to be what what was Amelia Clark's character in Solo? That's what she about to be on Terabithia. She's about to be an underboss. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Well, either way, Shin, another welcome character to the universe. I'm excited to see what happens to her.
Yeah.
I'm ready to move to Sabine if you guys are, but if you had any closing thoughts on her, I did not have much else.
I just hit me just now. I think because we're gonna like grow to like her a lot. I think whenever they do decide or figure out how to get back, she's gonna go back and she's gonna die. So I feel like that's too dope a character just to like leave out there and like never address her again. So I feel like when they become co-tagonists, she's like, "Oh, I'll help you go back and fight Thrawn," and then she's gonna get did in protecting Sabine. Probably gonna take a bullet through the armor.
They'll become friends, and then
She'll die in her arms. Yeah.
All right.
I was about to say, do y'all think her tears cross because you know she loves?
They go over the nose.
Cross over the bridge of the nose.
Oh man,
We love Shin. We love
poor
Shin.
Sia.
She's bodying this acting debut though. He's killing it.
Nah, she's fucking killing.
Triple threat.
Yeah.
Threat.
All right. So Sabine,
Quadruple from her perception.
I think more than quadruple, right? I think it's
I
if
know.
they're seeing double, it's got to be hex.
That was good.
Hextuple,
Oh man. Teared up on that one.
or hextuple. I don't know. Whatever.
That's why I said quadruple. I didn't know what the other words were going to be, so just trying to keep it simple.
I was rolling. I was with you. Quadruple sounded good.
I think that Sabine is on a trajectory of, once again, loss, because if we're assuming Ahsoka becomes the daughter and helps her get through the world between worlds, I think the world between worlds is how Shin and Sabine will make it back to the known galaxy, and that her ultimate path is to get Ahsoka to where she needs to be, but then when she loses her master in the process, it is a moment for her to kind of step up and move forward, similar to kind of like how Obi-Wan does when he loses Qui-Gon. You know, he's thrust into having this like new level of maturity, and there's a lot more on his back, as I feel Sabine will have a lot more weight on her shoulders to go back and help protect things. Not that she doesn't have allies back there, but her role in things I think is going to be increased due to the loss of Ahsoka. That's how I feel about it, kind of based off how I feel where Ahsoka's story is heading. But do you guys feel differently? Do you think anything else is on the horizon for her?
Total random thing, but you said Obi-Wan and made me think about that. I do always hate, I know there's like a million books that have covered it. I do feel like it was a missed opportunity to like explore Obi-Wan's grief to like losing Qui-Gon. I always feel sad that wasn't like a part that was like covered in like film or like TV or stuff like that or whatnot. Like you were saying how Obi-Wan, because I was thinking about like he did kind of like handle that real well. He became like a really dope
He's
master.
not supposed to have attachments,
Right.
so
Right.
he probably didn't really grieve, to be honest.
That's a good point. That's a valid point.
Or not, it just become part of the living force.
Yeah, we know. And then they burned the Jedi book in Rise of Skywalker. All them rules don't count no more.
Yep.
They said attach away.
Yeah.
They said coitus, have it.
Be fucking.
Look, the Force be fucking. They definitely be fucking. But Sabine, I would have loved to see Rachel's face when she force pulled, because you know I was sick. I will say I didn't mind the pull. The push
of the
drove me up.
saber.
Yeah, I didn't mind.
I liked that. Yeah.
The push drove me up a fucking wall. I was like, oh, she just figured it out that quick. Day one. 10 minutes in. You a master now. Hey, you double force pushing. That's an advanced move. You got to get far in the games before you can unlock double jump. You just out here doing it day one. That's fine.
Well, I think she only did the second jump. I think
that's timing. That's masterful timing.
That it is. You're right.
It was falling with style.
When I took my daughter to the dentist the other day, Toy Story was on.
Great movie.
It is.
Yeah, I was obviously wondering what your thoughts were on that, because I thought it was funny, like, as they were, you know, like storming the castle type of thing, that she had, like, Ahsoka was like, Ezra, like help open the door, and
she like Sabine help out.
Yeah, and like who knows if whatever Sabine was doing was even helping, because like right, because like Ahsoka and Ezra were also doing it, and it's not like she got out to help with the ship. She did her like badass like ship thing, which I fucking loved, when she like took out the TIE fighters, but I did really like the saber pull. I thought that was perfect. And then as soon as I saw her doing it, I was like, she's going to pull Kylo Ren, and just like that, like that. And it was awesome. Yeah. But I mean, I didn't love the force push, but again, it wasn't enough to take away, because I feel like the redeeming moment directly after that, when she's like, she's not alone, and they all start like fighting, had that sick fight. And then when Ahsoka's like, where's Ezra? And she's like, going home. And just like that chemistry between the two of them, just like you saw it there, where Ahsoka was like, you want to get out of here? Like, I just love that. So like, yeah, the force push, I feel like, of course it was a little bit of a cop out, but like immediately after that, I was like, all right. I'm seeing character growth with Sabine. I still feel like she's a little bit more immature than I would like this far out from Rebels. And like, even seeing like her and Ezra next to each other, I know he's got like a beard and everything, but he looks in like scenes so much older than she does, and she seems so much younger, but that's not true. Like, she's older than him. Yeah. No, I know. And again, I know it's the beard too, but yeah, I definitely enjoyed the small character growth I felt like we got from Ahsoka, from Sabine, I mean. And yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense that she's going to have to get off of Peridia without her master. If that's what we're, you know, predicting for Ahsoka, then yeah.
Yeah. That damn push. but no, I did enjoy everything. I do like that you just pointed out, right? Because I didn't really think about that myself, just in terms of like the maturity level has like completely flipped. I feel like that would be like a cool thing to for them to explore. Like, if once they get to like be around each other for like a long time again, it's like maybe Ezra gets more responsibility, you know, because, you know, he's obviously back there now, and I'm assuming he's going to help out. So like, maybe when Sabine comes back in, they're like, oh, Ezra got it. Might be some sibling jealousy there.
Yeah.
That'd be like a cool storyline. But yeah, I mean, even though they gave her force powers, I still don't want her to go full-fledged Jedi. Like, I do not want that. Like, I'm so scared we're going to pick up season 2. She's going to have the robes on. We're going to have a Padawan braid. Like, I do not want that.
I don't want Sabine without Mandalorian armor. Like, I feel like
it's a part of her character.
She's gotta.
It's too much a part of her character.
Yeah.
To relinquish it. If anything, if she's going to brandish Jedi robes, I hope that she combines the Mandalorian armor with the robes and kind of like has an Old Republic vibe going on, because I'm a big fan of that character type design.
That would be dope. Yeah, that would be, man. Like some Clone Wars. Get your John over your thing. Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at that. But yeah, I just don't want her to go full Jedi. I don't see how she don't. They about to be real, spending a lot of time together. I would assume they about to continue her training. They got nothing but time.
I think I wonder how much time will pass between the seasons. Like,
yeah.
For all we know, they pick up right where we left off.
I'm feeling a skip.
I'm feeling a skip too. But I also think that there are like maybe they decided to save the emotional reunion between Ezra and Hera for next season, and they pick up right where they left off.
Oh, that is a good point. That to do a time skip, you would skip all the reunions that Ezra is going to get to have. That's a good point.
I know, like, we have to see the reunion with Zeb. Like, not just like, oh, yeah, like, I was so happy when he came back. No. We have to see that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, I don't want to see them. Oh, I miss you so much when you're gone, even though we've been hanging out every day for a month.
Yeah, exactly. It's got to be authentic.
I don't know if this is a hot take, but since we're kind of like, we've wrapped up our Sabine predictions, it's time to move on to Hera and Ezra. I don't think we're going to have to wait until Ahsoka Season 2 to pick back up with these two characters specifically.
You think Mando?
I think we're going to get
or Skeleton Crew
and Mandalorian.
Oh, okay.
I think Skeleton Crew is going to be largely its own story.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
To the timeline.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that we're going to get a lot more of the New Republic defectors, if you will, or the ones who like understand the threats coming. Ezra is all the proof you need to know that Thrawn is a legitimate threat.
Yeah.
So if there are portions of the New Republic who choose not to fight, they are making that choice to not mobilize a military, which means that they're going to have to start building forces, and what better way to do that than find the allies you have, and Carson Teva is kind of like the link there to the Mandalorians. And so I feel like Ezra, the trajectory that I wanted for him is going to be what ends up happening. He's going to end up training Jason.
Absolutely.
And those adventures are going to probably send them on a trajectory towards
great.
Din and Grogu. So.
Ooh. That'd be dope.
Love that.
That would be dope too. Oh, damn, what was this about? I will say that I did expect to see like a Ezra in front of the council. See, we've been trying to tell you, scene. I did think we was gonna get that. So like when it did just cut out, I was like, oh. Well, I was like, I mean, runtime has to be the runtime, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but I did think we were gonna see that. But I'm definitely when soon as like Ezra got back, I was like, oh, Mikey's dreams coming true. He's gonna train Jason. It's gonna be great. But no, I'm excited. I do hope they do a flashback episode, doubling down on how he got off that ship in the armor and everything.
Yeah,
like, it would be great. It would be awesome. And then maybe in that flashback thing, here's my thing. The cool part about this portion of the timeline, kind of sharing shows, means that they might be able to take some of the assets that they created from Ahsoka and repurpose them in Mando and use that budget towards some cooler things to make Mando even better, because they're not spending as much money.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean? Like, building on top of the shows actually does the studio a lot of favors in terms of, you know, having a lot of things already created and made for the seasons that they're in, and then either updating or taking that budget that you have and pushing it towards something else that they can make really cool.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point, because they can even kind of do what they did with Book of Boba Fett, and like the back half of that was Mandalorian season 2.5. Like, so it's just like, even like if we not about to get like Ahsoka season 2 for a while, yeah, we could definitely like fill in Hera and Ezra's story and everybody who's on this side like through other shows till that comes back. So that's a good point. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds super likely. Definitely have to point out Ezra's little walkie-talkie. Typical Ezra. Love that when he talks back on the troopers communication thing. Calm.
Yeah, that was awesome. As soon as you started dragging the body away, I was like, oh, you about to put the costume on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that was awesome. Yeah, it was the fan service for me. I was like, there's a little something for everybody.
Yeah, it's like that's our Ezra. We know and love him.
Yeah. Do you think he keeps the beard when we see him next?
Nah, he shaves that shit.
I do think just don't cut the hair.
Don't cut the hair.
If he cuts the hair, just don't buzz the hair.
Yeah.
Just trim dry. Clip the ends, brother.
Yeah.
It's fine. It was weird. I thought he had cut his hair between his hair looked shorter.
Probably did. Probably continuity. He stopped and trimmed himself up for his grand reveal. Yeah, and then the fact, because it's like you'd have to assume that however long it took him to fly away from Thrawn's ship, he wasn't wearing that helmet flying that ship. It's like when he pulled up, he purposely put the helmet back on.
That's such a good call out. Yeah, because once he's off the Star Destroyer, you can, yeah. Oh no, we know Ezra's for dramatics and for show. You 100% know that's intentional.
Literally, park the ship, put it back on.
He's like, hold on. Oh my god, that's such a funny call out. And then I love that Chopper is literally like a dog and sensed him. He was like, that's my boy. I wanted a little more arms in that though. I feel like there weren't enough Chopper yeah.
I kind of would have loved if he put his hands on his hips type thing and slapped his knee or something.
Where have you been? That would have been great.
Little sassafras.
I think
they just need to bring us in.
That's another portion of things where it's let's say Ezra and Jason go off in an adventure during Mandalorian season 4. Chopper's going to be with them too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It just feels like the right thing. I don't know. I mean, I just can see it happening in my head, and I'm like, this is going to happen. I'm not even worried about it.
Chopper's definitely going.
We did talk a lot about Ezra. Any predictions for Hera? I think Hera is going to have to be fighting an unwinnable battle against the Senators of the New Republic. She's already barely scraped by with what quote unquote victories she's had. And it's just a shame that it's the forces that be aren't going to trust her, and she's going to have to build another rebellion.
The stuff that was happening with the what was that rehabilitation shit that they were doing for the Empire employees?
Oh, the amnesty program.
Yeah, when that was happening in Mandalorian, where was that compared to Ahsoka? Is that happening congruently, it's happening all at the same time? Was that
I think it happened it's happening very close. Mando season 3, it takes place right before I think Ahsoka season 1.
Oh, so it's all in the same era though.
Same time frame.
Okay,
the amnesty stuff. Pershing has already gotten his brain scrambled by the mind flare or whatever.
All right, got it. So it's in order. All right, perfect. Because I was gonna say, if that happened, if this is all happening around that time, I could see that being her storyline, the growing sewer meetings of the Empire.
The Republic. I love that idea. I also feel like you can take some beats from Andor.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah,
and try and put that type of tone into the show. A lot of people, and I will say this, objectively, Andor is probably the best show they've made. Subjectively, Ahsoka's my favorite live action show so far, but Andor is an Emmy caliber show. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
Andor World Tour, baby.
If you can fit more of that tone into Star Wars, I think people will be happy to see it.
Yeah.
And Hera's a good character for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I would like her story to be. Should they give her some stuff?
It with Ezra being back and all that, does that not give more credence to her concern in the eyes of the Senate? Or am I just being really naive?
No, I think you're right, Ray. But I think that Senator Ziono is going to do everything.
He'll be he just got lost somewhere.
Yeah.
And with the growing threat of the Imperial people in the embassy program, kind of working their way through the ranks, it might be harder than we think to get that stuff passed. I think this is one of the main things that forces Leia to create the resistance in the first place.
The senator who is the dad of the guy from Resistance, what's his name?
Ziono. Senator Ziono.
Is he an Empire loyalist, or he's just a political douchebag? Is that something he?
Yes.
He's a political douchebag for all we know, but there are enough seeds and not enough about his character in Star Wars Resistance to make me say 100% he was not a plant.
Okay.
He's not like a prime when it blows up.
Gotcha.
You're telling me the one senator from Hosnian Prime is not on Hosnian
Prime.
Right. It gets blown up. And that's the capital of the New Republic. Get the fuck out of here. Like, that man is a snake. Is a snake.
I didn't know if he was like this is just like how Mon Mothma, we're just getting like an earlier version of what we see her as later. I didn't know if he was like someone later down the road that was like already established.
He has a brief spot in Resistance, and that's the last you hear from him, is that he wasn't on the planet, and he tries to convince his son to leave the Resistance, essentially.
Got it. Oh yeah, he the op. He a bad guy.
Oh yeah.
Anytime you see that slick the back hairstyle, every time.
I will say this: kudos to the actor. He's done a really good job of making me not like the character.
Facts. Yeah.
Not quite like Skylar from Breaking Bad level. That actress is amazing too. It made me hate Skylar the character a lot. But
Bitch got death threats.
That's
Skylar sucks, dude.
They're just actors, people. Like, we don't actually hate the guy who plays like, we hate the character, not the game.
Can I go on a very relevant tangent with you guys really quick?
Absolutely.
Because something happened in Star Wars in this past episode, and I realized that it's something that happens in all Star Wars that, in my moment of clarity, I realized makes absolutely no sense.
How high were you when you made this realization?
Very. Okay. and I immediately wrote it down because I knew I was gonna forget. so doors, right? It's my understanding that if like an electrical door is open and I break the shit, it's not gonna close.
Why are you covering your mouth?
Like,
it does happen in every episode of Star Wars.
Always.
If a mechanical door is in the up position and I smash the controllers, it's not gonna mechanically close. It's gonna be stuck in the up position.
And to piggyback off that, how many times are they trying to like figure out a code or have like a droid like fidgeting with the door, and it's like,
that works,
there's also a saber, so like why, like, continuity's not there, and also that's a fact.
And they did.
It would not make it close.
They did it like 3 times in the episode where she was like, seal the doors, and she slashed. And then she did it again, seal the doors, and she slashed. And I was like, wait a minute. Like, these aren't locking mechanisms where I just cut the string and the door drop. Like, that's an electronically operated door. The shit wouldn't activate to shut just because I smashed the control panel.
Also, why are there so many doors? Like, I thought that was like a tunnel, and then suddenly it was like door.
That's another thing. Star Wars corridors. How come everyone knows the location of the door? Like, them shits be like adjacent
like,
with the ceiling.
What is the point of ever having that many segmentations? Yeah.
Listen, these are legitimate gripes.
Yes.
The only thing I could think of is that, like, it is a universal thing where the controls in the door just make if they fry, they just make them. They have an auto close. That's the only thing.
And they don't know how to make better ones.
Good excuse. It's not even a good excuse. But like, that's the.
No one's learned how to improve it either. They're like, it's fine. We'll just keep doing this.
I was
like, what is Matt about to say that's going to make me rethink everything
fucking hilarious.
I ever watch again? And I was like, and there you go.
Yep.
It was like when I found out that there's no buttons and zippers in Star Wars.
Yeah, when you told me that definitely that got me. But yeah, I think because I've never seen it done that many times in repetition.
It was a lot.
So it's just like when it happens, it's just like you roll with it. But when she kept doing it, I was like, huh. Why would that do that? She just broke the controls. Unless every Jedi gets incredibly lucky, Jedis, and they like happen to hit the close button as they're slashing it. Like maybe that's
instead of just hitting the close button.
Right.
Dude, that's hilarious.
And that was my tangent.
Loved it.
I welcome it. We have one more character to go through.
Asking the real questions.
The main antagonist of what I believe to be the Mando timeline, and it is What do you guys think is happening with Thrawn next?
Big Blue.
He's got to die or get exiled.
Yeah, I was about to say
at some point because he's not later on.
All right,
so
let's rein it in. What do you think is going to happen? But not like in the movie, like his ultimate fate. But what do you think is going to happen for him next? Like, is he going to be a base of operations on Dathomir? Is he going to go find the Imperial Remnant? Like, what's going on in your guys' head right now?
Yeah.
Good one.
I mean,
Mike.
yeah, I know, right? Don't try to come back after my tangent like with quality questions.
I meant the pillow talking reference.
Oh, yeah, that's
slipped it right in.
We always get one.
What's going on in your brain right now? Brain.
I had to kind of answer your question with a question to then kind of give an answer. I am very curious on what they're planning, because assuming he brought back dead bodies, that's a gigantic army, and like that army just ain't gonna disappear between now and the sequel trilogy. Like, they're just words. We got this. So I'm like, yo, either there's gonna be like a really, really gigantic battle, which for some reason has never been mentioned in anything that happened afterwards. Or that, I mean, that's the only thing that I could think. That's something, I mean, I guess that's the movie. Like, I guess like the Battle of Dathomir. I don't know. Who knows? But I think something big has to happen, because like Rachel just said, Thrawn ain't around. We don't get no references of him. Like, he's not like a player on the board. And like I said, whatever forces he's amassing right now, they're not things. I mean, maybe that's how, maybe his involvement with whatever's in them cases is what helps the First Order start to form and whatnot. So I know by the time Force Awakens comes, the First Order's like been in control. Mikey, do you know, like, from where Ahsoka is in the timeline until the First Order starts like running shit? Do you know like how long that is?
Yeah, so Mando season 1 takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi.
Right.
And Force Awakens takes place 30 years after Return of the Jedi. The First Order starts getting amassed within this like time frame. That's why the Shadow Council of the Imperial Remnant is very relevant. So they're already starting to build up their forces, but the Empire was excavating Ilum, which becomes Starkiller Base, prior to losing the war.
Okay.
So they're just taking old Imperial projects and then repurposing them, and then I don't know at what point it happens, but at some point they start stealing babies from people to create their army.
Jesus.
Whoa. What are they, Jedi?
I know, right?
Well, Finn and all of his stormtroopers.
Oh, yeah.
They say, like, Finn says, I was taken from a family I'll never know.
Yeah.
And it's because they took him so young. So there's not some draft. They're not just like fucking like crazy to make soldiers, like, but there's no cloning. So they go out into the galaxy and steal babies, and I think very much so that it's possible that, I mean, realistically, if someone came back from like somewhere else to your army and was like, yeah, we're going to use some of the old stuff, but we're also going to use some zombies, you'd probably be like, what the fuck is going on? I don't like this.
So many.
I can already see it on screen, actually, of like the live stormtroopers being like, the fuck is this?
Like, my man just got shot. He ain't fall. Like, what's happening?
Yeah. Is that going to happen to me? So I do think that there's going to be infighting, and that there's going to be a split, and the people who go to create the First Order are going to go create the First Order, and everyone who joins with Thrawn is going to join with Thrawn, and the conflict in Filoni's movie is going to wipe out the Imperial Remnant that teams up with Thrawn, making the New Republic think that they're safe from any sort of conflict moving forward. Gotcha. That's what I think is going to ultimately happen. But I'm wondering how much of Thrawn's game plan is tied directly into the Night Sisters' magic.
That's a good point.
I was going to say, do we think like at some point the Night Sisters have a reason to like turn on him, and that is his downfall?
it's really funny you say that, because the Bendu tells Thrawn that his future is a bunch of arms wrapping around him in a cold embrace. And that's what happens to him
Sounds like Night Sisters.
at the end of season 4 of Rebels, when the Purgle wrap around him. And that could also be his ultimate fate if it's a bunch of zombies that end up eating him.
Those aren't arms; they're tentacles. We're talking about Benju meant the zombies.
I like that.
Yeah,
And I can't take credit for that theory, by the way. So
No,
we're not going to give me any
cut
credit
that
there.
out.
I'm like almost positive that it was New Rockstars who.
Well, I just came up with a
Shout out to
theory.
Nicholas.
You just tied it back somewhere else.
Right, well, he already thought of it, so
Ray did that.
great minds think alike.
No, I don't. I'd have to go back and watch it, because but how my process is, I usually watch it once, talk to you guys, then I watch it again, because I like what you be seeing too, and I'm like, oh, that's what Mike and Rachel said. But so I might be making this up. This might be just me fan casting a memory, but I do feel like when Thrawn told Morgan, like, yeah, you gotta sacrifice yourself for the squad, like, the Night Sisters weren't like thrilled with that decision. They were like, oh shit, like, damn. Like,
This
she
is how
can't
you
come
do
with
it?
us. Yeah, like, damn, are we all excited? I feel like there was like a moment where they like lingered on one of their faces, and it wasn't like sadness, because like they're not like, oh my baby, but they was just like, oh shit, damn, all right, well, like, sorry, bud. Like,
Yeah.
so
I can't gauge their emotions or their reactions ever. Like, to be completely honest, like when they like look down and then they look back up and they're like, Morgan is dead. It's just like,
yeah, the look down, that was the sad. It's like, all right,
Move on.
Yeah.
Move
now.
on.
yeah.
Yeah, so I would love to see, like, if like that might have been like a seed of the High Sisters being like, oh dang, like,
We're disposable.
we're not family,
Or-
okay.
The Great Mothers are like, in our culture, death is more of a stepping off point.
But I would like some dissension in the ranks amongst them to like lead to like whatever zombie army turning on him. I think that'd be dope. That'd be super dope to see that in real life. I would enjoy it. I did have a question for you, Mikey, because you might know the answers to this, but like, I love when Thrawn's on the screen doing like his tactician shit, because I feel like it's so dope when he be like, oh yeah, the ship must have crashed if this happened. Like, I love when he like does all his stuff. How did they get somebody like so intelligent and calculating and dangerous to like buy into the Empire? Because like nothing about Thrawn to me screams like religious zealot or
Do
follower.
have the answer for you.
Give it to me.
Absolutely answer this question for you. So, Thrawn sees that the Empire has a lot of power when he comes back to the galaxy after being exiled by the Chiss Ascendancy. This happens after the Clone Wars, okay? So he's already done that little mission with Anakin, so he's aware of the Jedi and all that stuff and the Republic. But when he comes back, the events of Revenge of the Sith have already happened, so the Empire is in control. And essentially, he's found and brought before the Emperor, who he talks to about the Chiss Ascendancy, and knowing Anakin Skywalker, obviously Palpatine's like, well, that's my boy Vader. So he's like, you're really smart. You took out a lot of my men with barely anything. Why don't I give you a place in my empire? And in turn, I will help you protect your people, because that's what Thrawn ultimately wants. Is he wants to save his people from a threat in the unknown regions called the Grisk. That's why Thrawn buys into the Empire. And Thrawn, to an extent, is using the Empire as much as the Empire is using him. But he has like fully bought in, because he thinks that the Empire is the key to saving his people. So, and he even says in Rebels, he was like, I don't require like victory, I just require results for my Emperor. And so he believes Palpatine is powerful enough to help him defeat the Grisk. And that's where it comes from. At this point in the timeline, having a better understanding of the Jedi, the Force, now the Night Sisters with their magic, maybe him going back to the universe and realizing the Emperor's gone leaves a power vacuum in a way. But if he's aware of the projects like Starkiller Base and stuff like that, he can still technically defend his people or conquer the galaxy in order to rebuild the Empire and amass a force to go save the Chiss. So that's his end goal, and that's why he is part of the Empire. But that was a great question.
Thank you.
And not something known by people who are like casually viewing Star Wars. So, because they don't really go into it in Rebels.
It's the wise. That's who you is. That's who you be.
Do you think Do you think Thrawn has?
We never did that before.
Do you think Thrawn has like a fear of Anakin in a way? I kind of like got that in this episode when he knows that the apprentice of Anakin is, like you said, unpredictable but also skilled and like all that shit. But I don't know, like when they get past the like raining hellfire, he almost looks shook a little bit, and then and which one of my notes was like, I kind of feel like they got in there a little too easy, but it's fine. We're moving plot along. Like I can't.
We got 49 minutes.
Yeah, I can't like harp on that. But there was, I can't remember exactly what it was that he said, but especially before they take off, he's like he's just always bringing up Anakin, and part of me wonders like if he has like some sort of like fear or something that is now coming out when he's facing his like apprentice.
I think he recognizes power that he can't control.
Yeah,
and that's why he probably bought into Palpatine, knowing that Palpatine held that power, knowing and deducing that Anakin was Vader. That's why he taunts Ahsoka and says,
"Yes,
who knows if you will become,
everything he was or something like that." Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which was a very good line of dialogue because she just came out of like getting over that trauma.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So like, if anything is gonna like
the wound's still fresh, dang.
A little bit.
The ultimate manipulator.
Force her to exactly, like force her to maybe like rethink her growth.
Yeah.
Or I guess relapse is the right word, right?
Yeah.
So, then that's exactly what he should have said. But I think Ahsoka's stronger than that, and he'll brush it off. But
I like that he called her a Ronin.
Yeah,
like the samurai imagery is heavy in this show.
It is. I think Dave was just trying his best to get to a point where he could drop that line of dialogue in Star Wars.
I like that a lot. But I had put that exact same note about like him like visibly getting frustrated when they got through, and he was just like, "Oh shit."
Yeah. It's like kind of nice seeing him a little bit vulnerable too.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I was just like, "Oh yeah."
He said,
I really hope
"Fuck."
He said, "Time to go." He said, "I was gonna watch this."
He's like, let's go.
I think he's one of those
cargo's packed up.
Fire him up.
The more you see
Thrawn said, "We got to be on the I-10 by 10. Let's get out of here."
I think the more you see him, the less menacing he becomes. But I do want to see more of him pulling the strings, if that makes sense.
Because he's so good at it.
Yeah, I want them to put him in situations that are like, how the fuck did he get out of that with a win? And I think that there's opportunities in however many seasons are left in this timeline for them to do so. All right, guys, I do have Easter eggs, quite a few this week.
Did I ruin any?
Just a couple. But that's
okay.
All right. So this is not the first time the Blade of Talzin appears. It shows up in Clone Wars Season 6, Episode 9, The Disappeared Part 2. That is the Mace Windu Jar Jar Binks Buddy Cop episode. Mother Talzin wields that blade. So this is I think it's the second or third. I can't remember if she uses it in the comic books or not. The title is a clear reference to The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which we already talked about and predicted. So you're welcome. Hugh Yang references his teaching younglings to build lightsabers, which can be seen in the Clone Wars Season 5. Sabine says she tries and then that she does, a reference to do or do not, there is no try. Zombie troopers did appear in Legends. This is the first time in canon. Zombies were used by the Night Sisters during the Clone Wars to fight against General Grievous. And then it's, just nice to see that zombies in this universe also it works to go for the head.
I would like to point out that we 100% literally predicted that entire scene. We said that they're going to give us a very baseline explanation of how that smoke magic worked from a smoke. I said some stormtroopers are probably going to get knocked off and they're going to get rezombified. And that's our explanation. We fully predicted that entire scene. They just need to come get us. They just need to come get us. That's all.
Diana Lee Inosanto, who is Morgan Elsbeth, is the daughter of Bruce Lee's protege Dan Inosanto. I'm probably butchering that. And is a martial artist in her own right, which is displayed very well during their fight. I also think Rosario Dawson went through tons of training for that specific battle, but I feel like all of her skills were on full display. Not that we didn't see it when they sparred with each other in Chapter 5, Season 2 of The Mandalorian, but this one was just... I love lightsaber battles, and I know that Morgan wasn't using a lightsaber, but I think it might have been the best of the show.
It was very good.
It was really well done.
I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Ezra uses the communicator to mask his presence on the Star Destroyer, just like he would in Rebels. So, yeah, right, that was the one you ruined. But again, it's not a problem. And then we also talked about this. Morai makes her second live-action appearance in this episode. And then finally, something that we haven't really talked about too much. I know we did talk about it a little bit, but Baylan stands upon a statue of the father of Mortis. The son is beside him, and the daughter on the other side has her head destroyed.
Yeah.
This may also be a reference to the fact that Ahsoka
is the daughter.
will be becoming the daughter.
Yeah. I can't take credit for this one. Was that your last Easter egg? Did you have more?
That was my last Easter egg. Go ahead.
Somebody pointed out that when Baylan, I guess someone took a screen grab of when he was standing on the fist, looking out, and there was kind of a pillar of light shining in the foreground. I guess somebody screen grabbed it and did the zoomies on it, and it resembles the Morbus Tower that's been seen before from that in Clone Wars. And somebody was saying that they think that Morbus might not be a static location, and it might,
and then it moves.
Yeah, it can travel. Like Terabithia.
Interesting.
Just moves around.
Also, Matt, you are probably going to know, and I'm really mad at myself for not knowing it, but I do think that it was a direct reference to Lord of the Rings, the way that the statues were.
Oh, yeah. The Numenor.
Yes, the Numenorians, right?
Yes.
Fuck. What are the two guys called? I don't know why I can't think of... Is it Isildur and his father?
Who those two statues were?
Those two statues, yeah.
I don't think that was Isildur and his father. I'd have to look it up, but I'm fairly sure that it wasn't them two, but I could be wrong, and that's totally fine. Google it, baby.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Or I'm sure if you're interested at home, and I'm sure that if you caught it, or that if I caught it, that many people
we'll put the answer. We'll put the answer behind a Patreon wall. You gotta pay for
and your Google search.
You gotta pay for a premium membership for a 10-second episode of the answer.
And I could have also looked up myself.
Gotta pay these bills, baby.
Well, it's time for fan favorite segment. Ask me anything.
A Star Wars podcast.
Thanks for not cutting me off this week, guys. Also, please,
you can just put that music in yourself, right?
I do put the music in. I just have fun dancing to it when I'm not.
Nah, I love it.
I'm just having fun. Also, this question comes from executive producer of Dragon Ball for Life podcast again, the great Yali.
Shout out to Yali, all caps.
And listen, it is not me, so don't direct your anger towards me when I ask this question, okay?
I got you.
Yali asks, you gonna acknowledge Ezra and Sabine was necking or not?
Oh my god.
Do not direct your anger at me.
They weren't.
First of all, does Yali listen to the show?
Yes, she listens to the show.
That's why she's asking these nonsensical questions. They slept in different tents. If they did share a tent, they was back to back, head to foot. They was head to foot. Matter of fact, he was a gentleman, slept on the floor, gave her the bed. And that's all.
Golly.
There's a big contingent of fans who said apparently Sabine has a hickey. She sent me a picture. I'm like, it kind of looks like
She
a
just
bruise.
got done fighting. She literally was fighting.
I mean, I guess. And she also she made a pretty good case. She texted me. Like, she asked on to ask me anything, but then she texted me. And he was there by himself for 15 years. Sabine Fine-Ass shows up. Of course he's trying to fuck.
I mean, that's not
She said,
invalid, but nah.
And she was like, where else did
That's his sister.
Did she get the
Stop with this incest shit.
Yeah, that's his whole sister. She was just fighting. She be jamming her head in the helmet and pulling it off haphazardly. She could have caught her neck. she don't take that thing off securely and safely. It's just on off.
She also said that Ezra's not clapping nody cheeks, and I said,
I mean, he
Ezra
might.
got space crabs on Peridia.
He might. Yeah, no, they not fucking. No. They're siblings. I refuse.
Yeah, I
Look,
tried.
we begrudgingly we didn't let them, but we can't take it back. They got Ray and Ben. That's their incestual relationship that you get.
Yeah.
Stay away. We're not shipping these people.
No.
I don't need no couple name. We don't need it. We don't need it.
Yeah.
We don't need it. I don't even know what that would be. No, I'm not even
Nope. Don't even think about it. Nope.
No Sib Ezra.
Stop it.
Nope. That's their couple name. Nope.
Nope.
Never.
Period.
Never! Exclamation point.
Not in this galaxy, not in that galaxy, not ever.
Not in the galaxy far, far away. Not in the galaxy far away. Not in the galaxy relatively close.
Not in Terabithia, not in Narnia.
None of it. Not at Hogwarts.
Nope.
Not at Jeremy's house. None of it. None of it. I looked at the clock and I was like, oh, we didn't get it, Jeremy.
We gotta get it. They're not having any pillow talking.
None of it. Brain ain't on some other shit, ho.
No. No.
Been on Terabithia for 15 years. And it's okay. He could sure use a Sprite, but that's about
Sure
it.
use a Sprite.
That's
He's
all.
thirsty as fuck.
He's thirsty as fuck.
Right, well, we
But
have
on Tinder,
made
he's
it
sexual.
we have made it to another end of a Star Wars season. Just want to thank all the listeners for following along with us, especially Jeremy, who's gotten a shout out in the last like 6 or 7 episodes, and
Our guy,
we
Jeremy.
appreciate Yali for shooting us questions. I am very excited to continue Annie, Are You Okay? As we move into uncharted territory. Me and Matt will be blah 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 blah. Yeah. So anyways, Matt and I will be back doing all sorts of different little projects here at Annie, Are You Okay? Giving you all of the nerd Star Wars content that you desire. Ray, the Ruiner, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, what a trip it's been. We got engaged in the middle of this season.
Yeah, you did.
Crazy.
Star Wars television.
Yeah, you did.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
Got that Kyber crystal. I see it.
That's right.
That's
I liked it.
funny.
I put a ring on it, and I just want to thank you for providing a female perspective on a galaxy far, far away for this season of Ahsoka, who I know is your favorite character, so it's great to have you along. Where can the great people find you, and how can they support the things you're trying to support?
Me? Well, thanks for having me. I do love Ahsoka. And this has been fun. I don't know. All my socials are private, but are grande, I guess. TikTok.
You can try.
You can try. I might accept you. I don't know. TikTok, Ray of Sunshine. Some videos of our cute pup. If you're in South Philly and you have a cat or a dog, come to Love City Vet. And then you can also check out our website to donate to Franz Fund to help underprivileged pets. Yeah.
You can also find the link to Franz Fund in the description of the episode. And
I'll send you my Venmo too if you want to send me something there.
I would like to say on the airwaves, so that you guys have to do it. I would like our next group thing to be us to cover Rings of Power.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It might not happen on Annie or
I would like that to happen.
It will happen.
That's fine.
Yes.
Our world. But I would love for that to be our
show.
next gathering.
We'll find out what part of our podcast empire that episode goes out on.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
We're gonna have like a central hub where we all just meet.
Yeah.
A central podcast where we all just meet. It's gonna be great. But you gotta go first because my thing is just predicated on
Right. You can find all of us at Annie Are You Okay? The letters
A
are
Star Wars podcast.
pod on
Cast.
Instagram and Twitter. You can also follow our link tree down in the description. From that link tree, you can also find our socials for our sister podcast, Dragon Ball for Life, which you can find at DB4L Pod.
Life. DB__
On
pod.
Instagram and Twitter. We will be on YouTube hopefully soon, and we're working diligently to get that out there. And we also have a event coming up on October 21st at Cherry Street here in Philadelphia. Super Game Day Takeover. We will be running our Cospalooza event, Cospalooza 1.5 Chain of Memories, where you can come in cosplay, costume, enter a contest. All it takes is donating as little as $1 to Fran's Fund, which helps underprivileged pets get their vet care. You can enter our contest, and there are lots of prizes. It's an all ages event, so it is not just for the adults. Bring your kids. We have
you have
kids
no excuse
of the contest. There's no excuse not to be there. It is at Cherry Street Pier. There's a roof. If it's raining, you can come. We're good.
And it's free.
And it's free.
So
come support a good cause by joining our cosplay
$1.
contest at Cospalooza. Or just swing by and say hi. We'll be hanging out, having fun.
Please do.
You can find me at Mikey_the_illest on Instagram.
A Star Wars podcast.
Pictures of my dog and all sorts of other random stuff. But mostly I post about our podcast endeavors. And I already told you where to find us there. So... Matt, I guess I'll just say what you say, and they can find you all the same places they find me. However, you can hear Matt's beautiful voice on Dragon Ball for Life, and I just do the audio engineering for that one. So go check out Matt there and our good brother Travis on Dragon Ball for Life. Thank you to everyone who's been listening, and we will see you next time on Annie Are You Okay?
A Star Wars podcast.
Right. A Star Wars podcast.
Later, nerds.
Bye.